Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Sunday lecture series hosted by the Academia Library. Today we're going to speak about the good, the bad and the ugly of COVID-19. So why I chose this topic is, being a kinesiologist, I have had an influx of booking of kinesiology sessions because of fear. Now, let's look at this whole COVID. There is so many conspiracy theories going on. There is so much drama going on about this. And yes, it's a pandemic. Yes, there's illnesses happening. Yes, there's deaths. But we need to take stock of ourselves. As myself, I needed to take stock of myself. When the lockdown happened, I totally went into freak out mode because I'm a free spirit. I like to be out and about and I don't like to be confined. So the idea of not leaving my property, only going to shops at certain selected times, and all the fear and the stress that goes around with it, it took me into total freak out mode. But then I had to remind myself, what is this actually about? Where does this come from? I had to go back. Now you must remember, nothing can affect you if it's not by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that, just by that itself, and I realized that this is what I need to hold on to. We cannot fear man, we cannot fear a disease, we can only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just saying that to myself repeatedly and also inculcating this into my family, we have all calmed down. So I look at everyone around us. Yes, we're running into this whole frenzy, right? But what is the frenzy about? It's about a disease, right, that has been. And if you look at the Quran, Allah warns us, He tells us about the past of our prophets, when there were plagues, when there were illnesses, when things were happening around the world. And our test as believers is basically, are we turning to Allah in the time? Are we turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or what's happening? Because you must remember, the darkness, which is shaitan, they need fear. They need fear to actually control us. So if we take away the fear and we go into trust mode, then we're not going to give them any fuel. And that is what I teach to all my clients, I teach to my family as well. So nothing can harm you if it's not by the will of Allah, right? That is my take on it. So you look at parents and elderly people and lockdown and the need to basically communicate. Yes, as a human, we need human touch. We need communication. But there are some people that are actually quite ridiculous about this. This lockdown is happening for a reason. And what is the reason of lockdown? To try and prevent or maybe calm down the spread of the disease. So I've had cases where clients actually contact me and they said, I don't know what to do with my parents because my mother is forcing us to come visit. They are forcing us to come make Jum'ah Salah by us. They are forcing us to maybe perform Tarawih in the month of Ramadan. Now this in itself is not on, because for an elderly person over the age of 65 or maybe even 60 or any type of immunity disorders, what's going to happen is you're at stake. So yes, the person coming to you could be a carrier of the disease. And then what's going to happen? You're going to be maybe ending up with COVID. So yes, all of us are bound to get it because it's a virus. But what are we doing in the process of getting it? Are we increasing our immunity? Are we disconnecting from all the fear? So fear on TV, what all this about, if we're going to follow that fear all the time, what's going to happen? We're going to lower our immune system, because fear is not a good product for an immunity. What's going to happen with a good immunity is limiting your time on social media. It's limiting your time spending listening to the news, listening to all the negativity, listening to all these WhatsApp conspiracy groups that people just send out all these random videos. You're going to have to cut off from that. So one of the things I will definitely suggest is cut off on that, right? So the conspiracy theorist and those conspiracy theories out there, it sometimes sounds so close to the truth that is so believable, because why? They hone in on all our emotions. And what we do as a person who's emotionally involved now and tapping into the fear, we're going to listen to anything that's going to come, and anything that's going to make sense to us, we're going to listen to it. But is it worth it? So going back, is this COVID a blessing? Come, I talk about the blessings. In my eyes, yes, it is a blessing. Because this is what I realized. When COVID happened and lockdown happened, what did we have to do? We had to take stock of our lives. We actually had to take stock of who's the most important ones in our life. So all these social media influencers, followers, and all that, it doesn't matter, right? People all turn to all these things because, yes, when you're in business, when you're out there, what do? We need these people, these followers, these sales, the community out there to support you. But in actual fact, what does it actually do to you subconsciously every morning when you wake up? So you're putting on the phone, you're seeing Facebook posts, you're seeing Instagram posts. That automatically lowers your immune system without realizing it. We also only have a certain amount of energy that we have every day. So if we're going to waste our energy on trivial things, what's going to happen to us when we need our energy? We're not going to have any energy. So going back, right, COVID happened, lockdown happened. What happened? We spending time with our family together, we started cooking home-cooked meals, the healthiest meals that we could find. Yes, we were eating the junk food at home as well, but we started cooking in our home. We were in control of that stove. When Salah times came, when we needed to make namaz, what happened? We started together as a family. This was the blessings that I saw. I also realized that how much money I was spending unnecessarily, because when you're on the road, you take the children out, and we're actually spending so much unnecessary money, right? Also going to bed at night. Yes, in the beginning we were watching all the series and the TV and stuff, and eventually I said, this doesn't serve me. What serves me? I started opening my Quran again. I started journaling. I started looking at things that could enhance me, could actually clear my mind and calm my mind down. Because in the time of the stress and COVID, we are going to take on anything. And so we need to be very careful of what we're going to allow into our space. So yes, it was very hard, but what we discovered was video calling. So we could video call our parents. We would have my children speak to our parents over the phone, over the video calls, and also connect with other people. But I also realized that as me as a person, I realized that I don't need to be in touch with the whole world. I don't need to. But what I started doing was I started using my gift. I started servicing, so serving people. How did I do that? Having online kinesiology clients, sessions with my clients, and I could do this worldwide. And this would place a sense of calm, and what I would do in those sessions is make you realize what the blessing is, what the blessings of the COVID. And the question that I would ask all my clients that would contact me for a session, I would ask this question: let's say this COVID was created only for you. Never mind the whole world. This was for you to find your blessing. What blessing came out of it? And automatically they went into gratitude mode. They would list a whole list of all the blessings. And when they saw the blessings, they stopped fearing. So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly tell us in the Quran? Worship me, be grateful to me. Be grateful to me, be grateful to me. So if we're not in a space of gratitude, what is going to happen to us? Our immunity is going to go down. The one thing that will cancel out any type of disease in your body as well, if you're going to constant gratitude every single day, your immunity starts improving, your organs start improving, your whole neuroplasticity starts changing. Because why? You're focusing on your blessings and not your lack. So your lack are the things that you don't have. What does a sick person long for when they are ill? They long for health. What does a healthy person long for? They don't long for sickness. They long for maybe, off my cuff, maybe material things. Not all, but some. Now what happens in the case of just chasing material things? What did this lockdown teach us? The capitalism, right? The whole debacle of just chasing the rat race. It had us take stock of our lives. We had to calm down. Myself as an example, I didn't know how to calm down. I was running on functional adrenaline, functional anxiety, and it's all because of adrenaline. And I would be working in my therapy room. I got 2 businesses. I would next month get on the plane. I would be away buying in stock. I love doing both jobs that I have, and it's my passion. But what didn't I do in the process? I wasn't resting. So what do we need as humans? We need enough rest. And when I talk about sleep with a restful sleep. So yes, we go to bed. Some people say, but I sleep 8 hours a day, but I'm still tired. Yes, you're tired because of your adrenaline that is so much in your body, because your adrenals are totally burnt out. Then you've got the stress hormone. And then you've got the histamine that comes up because of these hormones in the body. So what we're actually on a cycle of going. The lockdown has taught me I can't go anywhere anymore. I needed to calm down. For the 3 weeks of lockdown, I slept. I just slept. I slept as much as I could. I couldn't believe that I could sleep so much. And afterwards, when I didn't need all the sleep, I was back to normal. And you know what? I was actually being more present, being in a case of I have enough energy to cope. So when we don't have enough energy to cope, what will happen is you will be short with other people. You will become stroppy, you will become irritated because you don't have enough sleep. And then like I said, myself and my husband, we would be watching series, and afterwards I made a decision to stop because I'm not usually a TV person. I said, no, I can actually use my time much better. And then I started focusing on goals again, because now with the whole financial thing happening, what do? We went into fear mode. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my school fees? Why are we worrying when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if a bird goes out in the morning, he's going to come back with his sustenance for the day? If that's just an animal, that is just a little bird, why do we freak out as humans? Because we lack the trust. And then I had to go into trust mode. So it was difficult when we came across and the schools wouldn't give us leeway for our school fees, and my kids, they go to Constantia Waldorf, and then I'm thinking, how am I going to afford this? The first thing that went through my mind was, first I went into victimhood. I went into please, poor me, pity party, and then I said, no, victimhood is not going to serve me. What can I do to actually get me out of this? What solutions can I do? And I sat back and I said, Ya Allah, please guide me. And I got solutions while I was making salah. And solutions came to me. If you can increase what you're doing, create a service to provide. So you must know with money, it comes from a service. You need to serve people in order to get back. Now, if people are not serving others and they're just expecting to get money, that is not how it works. So the more you have to serve other people, the more you'll see the money will come. And I went back into my type of life coaching and all the abundance workshops I've done. I said, okay, Fadwa, get back to basics. What do you need? I wrote down. I said, I need an extra X amount of money for the month. How am I going to do this? And then I just went to basics and I said, okay, I need to serve X amount of people to get X amount of money. And I did it. What I did was, I was basically inspired by my coach, and I belonged to a journaling group, and I said, okay, if I could do the same thing, and I decided to create my own thing for my mobile therapy as part of kinesiology. But what I did was I changed it. I changed it to see what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what works for me. And I just put it out there, and I said, Ya Allah, please send all those who can benefit me and my teachings, benefit who can supply me that. And in no time, people started signing up, and I charged a minimum fee. So in no time, I have people, attendees, and clients of mine that I send out motivations every day. And to me, it's I wake up in the morning. I woke up 5:30 this morning, and I was excited to start my day because now I've got some stuff to share with others to help them in the time of this COVID. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to get you into a space where you're going to think of the positives. I'm going to get you into a space where you're going to think of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the best way to look at this. So COVID, yes, it's happening. Yes, there's deaths, but death is inevitable. Each and every one of us is going to die someday. But it's not how you die, it's going to be how you lived. If you have taken this COVID and you have said to yourself, I'm going to change this into me becoming closer to the Almighty. If this is going to be your time to become closer to the Almighty, to do all the things that you can do and become closer, and also in that same way, ask Almighty, what is my purpose on earth? Because you must remember, we created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Allah only. We're not created for this dunya. Why are we struggling on this dunya? Because it's not made for us humans. It's not made for us. It's not actually made for believers. I couldn't say humans because some humans are loving the materialism of this world. Yes, we deserve nice things. Yes, we can own nice things, but it doesn't mean it must consume us. And the COVID is a blessing for us in that regard, to see that I can't go out, I can't earn. What am I going to do now? It's actually saying that all these things, of all this name brand stuff that we want, is it serving us in the time of this death and this illness? It's not serving us. So now we need to recollect. We need to go back and see what is important. The important thing is our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, then the rest of the things. So it's first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then your husband, then your children, maybe first your parents. It depends on what your value system is and where they are categorized. Once you can relate to that on that level of knowing that Allah is first, and you've got absolutely nothing to worry about. That's how I view life. I can't force anything upon anybody, but what I am going to do is make you see that Allah is important. It is important, and once we can get to that point of importance, we're going to see that we won't even fear this COVID. Because look at the blessings of us believers, right? Look at Ramadan. So let's go to more blessings. Ramadan this year, we couldn't go to masjids. It was heartbreaking to many, especially the old folk, and especially those who would go to masjid for Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha, and then look forward to Layl Salah, look forward to the Taraweeh, but we could not go. But what happened? We brought that Noor into our home. And I was following the Omar Sulaiman series this Ramadan of the angels, and it brought tears to my eyes. Why? Because we don't realize that when we are standing in prostration, right, going prostration to our Almighty, there are such big malaikas that is actually praying with us. So I mean, bringing that energies into our homes, what big blessing it is. So Ramadan in itself was no extravagant iftar parties for families, right? When I say extravagant, yes, it's beautiful to spend time together, but sometimes sometimes we do waste. What did we do? We went into mode, we were constantly giving others. And that to me, when I saw that, was totally, absolutely beautiful, because now we're in the position where we could feed others, and it also made us more mindful of feeding others, right? And then our Taraweeh. For the first time in this, for my entire life, I completed a full Taraweeh, except the days when I could not recite and I could not read. And the blessing was that my two boys, age 15 and age 11, could stand in front. And I had tears in my eyes when I saw this, because why, it was a dream of mine to actually one day do this. And every day, no matter how tired I was, there was times I actually fell asleep standing and reciting. I would actually doze off because I was so exhausted, but I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't say, no, I'm going to skip tonight. And that has made me in my own right, knowing that I did the best that I could. And what was the blessing? It was lockdown, because my husband and my boys wouldn't go and leave to the masjid. They were actually in my home guiding me in my namaz. So the blessings that I've seen, and the closeness that we've become as a family, and the family times that we've been spending together, that in itself should be our ultimate blessing, right? So if you look at what can we possibly do to overcome all this, I'm going to give some tips, right? So what I do is I journal every single day. I'll get up early in the morning and I journal. So the journaling is the same questions I do every single day. And the journaling, you can actually access it on the Holistic Psychologist on Instagram, and you can download it, and then you just journal it. So it's questions you ask, but I've obviously tweaked it. And then you go into gratitude. But what I've done is I now write down, what do I do in the case of things I want to change. So those are emotions, but I've also included all the answered prayers and all the answered du'as. How many times do we just go with the future and what do I want to achieve, but do we actually look back and say, what has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted me? What has He given me? What have I asked for? How long did it take for me to get it? So we will see all the questions that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all the du'as that we ask. You will see that He has granted us, not in our time, in His time, when we are ready to receive it, or something even much better. But the question is, do you actually know what you want? If you don't know what you want, you're going to struggle with this. So now's the time, in this time of the pandemic, what is it that you actually want? As a person, as a mother, as an individual, as a believer, as a parent, as a wife, as a husband, what do you want for yourself? What do you want for your family? Start from there. What do you want? If it's going to be getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how am I going to do this? Write this down. You will see, you will get much more answers every single day once you sit with it. And it's just about sitting in silence for about at least 10 minutes. I sometimes sit for an hour to 2 hours in that silence and just writing, because what that gets you to do is think of the positive, first of all. Secondly, and it's not just the positive, right? It's about getting your space, getting your brain and your body in the space of being in a calm position, of being in a more positive space, and also focusing on what you want and not what you don't want. If you're going to keep on focusing on what you don't want, guess what? You're going to attract it. So those people, I mean, I heard a story about this woman that went to put on a full garment, and when she came in the stores, she looked at the people, she went back, she went to put on another layer. What is that that's saying? Fear. Yes, you have to be precautious. Yes, you have to tie your camel. But if you're going to be in a space of fear mode, is it really going to serve you? And those people that fear, it actually highly, how can I say, those are the ones that usually attract it. You attract your fears. You attract anything you think about. And what I realized on my Hajj a few years ago was, Every thought in your mind is a dua, whether negative or positive. So you need to watch your thoughts, and you need to watch what comes out of your thoughts. So if you have any negative thoughts, you're going to attract it. If you have any positive thoughts, you're going to attract it. So what would you rather have coming in your thought pattern, in your mouth, what you're talking? So gossiping is going to lower your immune system. Gratitude is going to increase your immune system. Searching on social media is going to lower your immune system. Why is that? Because you're constantly and subconsciously comparing yourself to others, whether you realize it or not. So it is somebody, let's say somebody posts their holiday pictures. If you're not in a good space financially, you're going to see your lack. You're going to think, why am I not getting there? What did I do wrong? But it's not what you did wrong. It's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us. Each and every one of us has our own blessings. But we sometimes don't look at the blessings we have. We look at what we don't have. We look at what others have. And the comparison happens. And that in itself is not good for the immune system. Right. So if you can remove yourself for a bit, just a little bit, from social media, and maybe if you're on Instagram, select things that will encourage you. Select things that will motivate you. If you get to that point, you will see you will be more uplifted. But if you're going to follow people that is not serving you, and your soul will feel it, you will become tired. Right? So unfollow those who doesn't serve you. Follow those who does serve you. I follow a lot of Islamic people like Yasmin Mujahid, Umar Sulaiman, and every day I get my motivational messages, and to me my day starts off like that. And now I just want to spread it with the world, because why? That has increased me in my belief, increased me in my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now let's look at more positives. So this COVID happened. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? All his believers, all a test for us. He has actually put nur back in our homes. Why? Because he's created our homes to become our own masjids. Isn't that beautiful? Was there actually nur in our homes before that? We could say yes, but was there really? If you're going to think back really, how many times has the adhan went off, but we were so engrossed in that series, or maybe on social media. But when it went off, we heard it loud and clear, and we actually got up to do it on time. Now, come I explain to you. One of my areas of my work is I help people with energies, right? And I'm sharing this now because I saw the blessing of this whole Ramadan and the lockdown. I help people with energies, clearing energies, sometimes affected with the unseen lower energy vibrations. And something I realized in this time of lockdown is that when you're doing your namaz on time, and when I speak about on time, you're being protected all the time, and your energy vibrations become higher. And when it's higher, then these low vibrational energies can't really affect you. And when I missed it, I was affected. And affected, when I say affected, why? I got the headaches and I've got the tiredness. But why did I get that? Yes, I am quite intuitive, and my energies, I pick up energies very quickly. And then it was just showing me that we need to take time out. Even when this lockdown is ended, we need to ask ourselves this question: do I want to go back to the old way of doing things, or do I want to create the new way of doing things? So the old way, you need to ask yourself, did that old way really serve me? If it served you, then go back. But if it didn't serve you, and then you need to create your own way of doing things. And that is going to be the time that you spend with your family. It's going to be your prayers. It's going to be little things that you have created for yourself. And think about all this takeaways and all the unhealthy food that we were eating and all the money that we were spending on. Yes, we're helping others as well in their businesses, but if you cannot afford something, you need to ask yourself, where can I change things? Because sometimes we just run on, what do you call this? On autopilot. And we just spend, we just go to the shops and we swipe. And we're not realizing that it becomes a detriment. Especially now we could see that I didn't work normal. How am I going to just pay those bills? And yes, we all went into fear mode. All of us. There's nobody on earth that didn't go into fear mode. So now we're going to ask ourselves, do I need all that extra stuff? Do I need all that unnecessary stuff? Do I need to spend all that money all the time? If the answer is no, you need to sit down and you need to go to a space of quiet and silence and say, Ya Allah, help me get to the place I need to be, and guide me and show me the person that could maybe help you. Help me in that regard. And normally when I do that and you set out that intention, you will see everything starts falling into place. You need to ask yourself this question: what do I really want? Look at the blessings around you. Focus on the blessings first. When you go out, take precaution. Do your hand sanitizer. Wear your masks. Don't do unnecessary visiting. Don't go visit the elderly if you don't have to visit them. If you have been exposed to people with COVID, isolate yourself for the next 2 weeks, because you're not going to serve anybody by being out and being reckless, right? And do as much charity as you can. Give to those. If you've got a little bit extra, share. Make sure your neighbor is fine. Make sure your brother and your sister is fine. Because yes, we're in a time of a pandemic. Yes, we're in a time of fear mode, but it doesn't have to be the type of fear that is going around. Limit your time on the news as well. You don't need to know all the stuff that the media expose us to, because some of those stuff is not all 100% true. Find things where you will get 100% true information, and fact check before you repost it. All those WhatsApp messages, all those things on Facebook, on Instagram, fact check it before you just start spreading, because then you're going to be a part of the problem of spreading the fear. And if you can just do that, you will see that you will start calming down as well. So the whole thing is about, I touched on the good, I touched on the bad. The ugly parts was really this lady with this funny outfit and came to put on 2, and how the people were carrying on about toilet rolls and all those things. Those are the ugly parts of it. But we don't need to be a part of that. We can decide what we want in our space, and we can decide who we want in our space. And it doesn't mean that you love anybody less. It's about you protecting your energy and protecting yourself in the meantime by helping others, give permission to others to do the same. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on responsibility, the social distancing, right? We're still going to tie a camel. We're going to sanitize our hands. We're going to wash our hands regularly. We're not going to touch our face. We're going to wear our face masks when we go out, and also still keep it to only going out for essentials. We're still all at risk. Yes, we're all going to get it, but we can still prevent this from affecting the elderly. Also, love your parents from a distance, but try to keep that distance, social distance with them, especially if they are not in good health. And I'd like to thank the Academia Library for having me here today, and for any more information on all my work, whether it's life coaching or kinesiology, and to increase your immune system and to be in a more positive space, you can follow me on fadwa.mobiletherapies, which is on Instagram, and my website is www.mobiletherapies.co.za. Thank you.